Well, Gaza, or what's left of it, is a humanitarian disaster, and now there are really fears of escalation in the region with U.S. airstrikes in Syria and Jordan. For more on that, let me turn to Joshua Landis. He's the director of the Center for Middle East Studies at the University of Oklahoma and joins me from Oklahoma City. Joshua, the U.S. has said repeatedly it does not want a war with Iran. It basically wants to stop Iranian-backed militants from attacking U.S. bases. So my question to you is, what happens if this deterrence, if you will, does not work?
Well, it doesn't seem like it is working because already Iraqi militias have announced that they're attacking American bases in response. So this is a delicate situation for the United States. The Iraqi government is undertaking a reevaluation of America's strategic position in Iraq, because the last time Iraq attacked these Iran-backed militias, it killed a number of leaders, and this caused an outcry from one end of Iraq to another, saying we don't want Iraq to be used as a battleground for Iran and the United States. It's not worth it. Today, 13 Iraqis were killed last night by American planes, and this has caused an outcry by Iraqis who feel like their sovereignty is being undermined. So it's a delicate situation for America, and it's undermining America's position in the region. So Iran is being able to play this quite intelligently, I think, because each of these strikes does weaken the United States.
So Joshua, we keep hearing Iranian-backed groups, Iranian-backed militants, Iranian proxies. How much direct control does Iran really have on these groups in Iraq?
Well, it doesn't have direct control. These are Iraqis, but they're working closely with Iran because they share strategic interests, which is one of them. The most important today is to get rid of America from the region. They view America's interests to be opposed to those of Iraq. And so, you know, as we know, Iraq is badly divided, but the majority of its inhabitants are Shia Muslims, Arabs, who many of whom look at Iran as a protector. Iran helped them to defeat ISIS and has helped them to secure their positions. And the Sudani government, the prime minister of Iraq, is very attached to these militias. He needs their support in the government. They are part of the Iraqi government.
So what happens if there's a miscalculation, Joshua? I mean, it would change the entire dynamics of this conflict. If one of these U.S. airstrikes lands on Iranian soil, then this thing is it can change in a heartbeat.
It can change, but I think both the United States and Iran are cautious. They don't want it to become a regional war, although this is a regional war. We shouldn't fool ourselves. There's a low-grade war going on. The United States is trying to keep it low-grade, but it's playing in a region where it doesn't have many cards in its favor. The entire Arab world is inflamed now because of U.S. support to Israel in killing so many Gazans and destroying Gaza, as your show has just underlined. And that means that the United States is playing with only a few cards, and those are mostly military. Public opinion is dead set against Iran, is dead set against the United States. And we saw only 2 months ago that this axis of resistance, the militias allied with Iran that spread from Lebanon right across this region, Syria and Iraq, were scoffed at by many Arabs because they weren't doing anything for Palestinians, and they were engaged in civil strife within both countries. But today, the Arab world is clamoring for resistance. It is up in arms against the United States, and that leaves the U.S. very isolated in the Middle East.
Yeah, and I want to get to the Palestinians in just a moment, but getting back to these U.S. strikes, the U.S. military has made it very clear this is just the beginning. What else can we expect, and where?
Well, I think America is surprised today at how many people were killed. There were about somewhere about 23 Syrians have been reported to be killed, and 13 Iraqis. That's almost 40 people have been killed by America's attacks. I think America had telegraphed that they're going to bomb these bases. I think they thought that most people would have evacuated them, and it would have been mostly the destruction of hardware, infrastructure, and so forth. But they've killed a lot of people, and that may satisfy America's desire to show strength and revenge. It's a 10-to-1 kill ratio now, about the same as the kill ratio of Israel. I don't know what they're going to want to do more than this, but of course they're keeping their cards close to their chest, and it depends much on how much the Iraqis and Syrians retaliate.
So let me move on to Secretary of State Tony Blinken, who's traveling to the region for the 5th time since October. What is he hoping to achieve this time that he hasn't managed to do before? And why is the word ceasefire, why has that word become such a taboo word?
Well, I think that Blinken is trying to carry an American plan for what happens next in the region. And the United States is still hoping that it can bring Saudi Arabia into the center of some kind of post-Gaza destruction plan for rebuilding and for a two-state solution, at least engaging Israel and Saudi Arabia together in some sort of American-led plan. Now, that seems far-fetched at this moment. It's not clear that Saudi Arabia is going to want to get into the middle of it, but I think that's what pundits are saying in the United States, and I believe that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to tamp down the escalation, but he's going to try to promise people that America is not just helping Israel destroy, but it's going to try to help Israel and Saudi Arabia rebuild. We'll see if this message is received well in the Middle East.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Joshua Landis, thank you very much.